Okay, so this time we focus on brand management and innovation. Brand management and innovation are two interconnected concepts that play pivotal roles in the success and longevity of a brand. Because effective brand management involves strategically building and maintaining a brand's identity, equity, and reputation in the minds of consumers. On the other hand, innovation is about introducing new ideas, products, or processes that add value and contribute to brand's relevance in the market. At the heart of the brand management is the establishment of a strong brand identity. And this includes defining a brand's values, personalities, and positioning in the market. Brand managers work to create a consistent and compelling brand image across various touch points, no? Such as packaging, advertising, and customer interactions. A well-managed brand builds trust and loyalty among consumers, distinguishing it from competitors. Innovation is a catalyst for brand evolution. Brands that embrace innovation stay ahead of the curve and respond effectively to changing market dynamics. And this can involve introducing new product features, adopting cutting-edge technologies, or implementing novel marketing strategies. Innovation helps a brand not only meet current consumer needs, but also anticipate and shape future demands, reinforcing its position as a market leader. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter.
Hello po, good morning everyone. Good morning Dean and classmates. We will be tackling about the brand management and innovation. So for our today's agenda, number 1, brand equity and brand positioning. 2, building and managing strong brands. 3, innovation and new product development strategies. And lastly, intellectual property and brand protection. So punta po tayo sa brand management. Ano nga ba yung brand management, no? So it is a concept that pertains to the strategic activities and processes involved in effectively managing and controlling a brand. So meron tayo ditong dalawang subtopics, which is ano ba yung ginagawa ng brand management. Una, the brand management strive for a greater productivity and individuality, and it also conducts an assessment or analysis of the given subject matter. So for example, sa evaluation, ano ba yung mga dapat nating evaluate? Siyempre, yung target consumers natin. Ano ba yung mga dapat na ita-target natin? Depende kung anong klaseng product yung gusto nating ibenta. Next is digital marketing, especially sa panahon ngayon is very fast-paced na tayo. Kakaunti na lang yung mga nagbabasa ng newspapers, mga ganyan. Usually, most of the time nasa social media na lahat. So, dapat maganda yung digital marketing din ng kahit anong brand or product na ibebenta natin. So, next is the benefits naman ng brand management. So, first of all, syempre, sa growth ng business natin, kung pangit kasi yung brand management, like for example, hindi updated yung social media, walang marketing, hindi mag-grow yung business natin. Although, isa rin sa mga marketing strategies kasi yung parang nanggagaling lang sa suggestion ng friends. So, what if si friend na bumili ng product is hindi naman siya masyado nagsasuggest sa mga co-friends niya. So that means hindi rin magiging out yung product ninyo. So kailangan maganda din yung brand management ng isang company. So cultivates customer loyalty, creates brand awareness and recognition, increases pricing and value of products, grows sales through loyal customers. So unang-unang naisip ko dito when I was reading it before, yung mga Apple products, 'di ba? Ang ganda nung before pa talagang mag-boom yung Apple products is nasa ano pa lang sila, nasa Apple One, yung mga unang-unang products pa lang nila. Sobrang ganda kasi ng marketing strategies na ginagawa nila doon. And then sa US, nakipag-partnership din sila sa mga telco na kasama yung mga SIM cards along with the phone. So ang gandang naging perception ng mga customers as well as the quality of the product as well. So maganda yung naging brand management niya, and it ended up na maging boom talaga yung product. So kagaya ngayon, I think the latest one is yung Apple 15 na. They don't even need to scatter so much marketing advertisement. Talagang nilabas lang nila na may Apple 15 na, automatic yung mga customers is talaga nag-iintay na lumabas yung product para bumili. So hindi na nila kailangan i-out pa sa market kung ano-ano yung mga bagong features, ganyan. Hindi na nila kailangan i-display kung ano-ano yung mga dinagdag nilang features. They just had it with the name of the product na. So mga examples naman nito is advertising, marketing, corporate identity, product design, customer support, and public relations. So very important, first of all, is yung advertising and marketing. Lalo sa mga bagong product pa lang o yung mga bagong small businesses na lumalabas sa panahon ngayon, especially for example, this 2023, kung bagong startup pa lang yung business, kailangan maganda yung brand management mo. So, kailangan sobrang effective yung advertising and yung marketing mo. If, syempre, small business, hindi pa siya masyadong, ah, hindi pa siya corporate. Diba? Iba kasi ang corporate sa mga individual or sole proprietor. So, kailangan kahit na mag-isa ka lang, ikaw lang yung nag-put up ng business mo, kailangan maganda pa rin yung identity, kung ano yung magiging tatak niya sa mga consumers. Maganda rin na very attractive yung product design, especially depending on your target consumers. Kasi, for example, mga trending clothes, yan, para sa mga teenagers or sa mga Gen Zs. So, syempre, hindi naman sila bibili ng mga mukhang pangmanang na damit. So, kaya kailangan yung product design mo is pasok na pasok kung ano yung current trend ng taon. So, customer support and public relations, very important. Especially, for example, sa Shopee and Lazada, pag magbebenta ka doon, as a startup business, kailangan, if may feedback si customer, if may request, or may problem, may issue sa product na na-deliver, kailangan um, update ka pa rin sa kanila kung ano nangyari, papalitan ba or hindi, kung bakit naging ganun yung resulta ng delivery ng product. Kailangan palagi kang nakasupport sa business mo kung ano-ano yung mga needs ng customer mo. Kasi pagka naging pangit na, yung first impression, maglalast na yun. Always, it's always like that, first impression last. So it's very important to give your customer the satisfaction ng product mo. So here are the 8 tips for effective brand management. First of all, submit rules to your team. Very important, even in every corporation, there must be rules to be set kung ano-ano ba yung mga gagawin ninyo sa products ninyo. Kasi kailangan isang product mo maganda quality, dapat lahat ng product maganda quality. So create a unique brand strategy. Pay attention to customer experience. Ayan, kasi especially sa mga unique brands, kung hindi siya masyadong talagang binibenta or hindi siya masyadong ginagamit ng mga tao, kailangan unique siya. Paano mo ba ibebenta yung isang unique na product? For example na lang sa mga um, ginagamit natin na decorations, ganyan. Sobrang dami ng mga decorations ngayon sa room, ganyan, sa living room, mga ganyan. Kung ano-anong klase mga decorations ng mga nabebenta ngayon, especially online, sobrang dami yung pagpipilian. How do you make your product unique out of all those stores na marami nagbebenta ng mga ganong product? So like what I said earlier, kailangan may magpe-pay attention ka sa customer experience. Marami naman diyan mga nagfi-feedback, 'di ba? Like ako as a customer or as a consumer, after ko mag-order ng product, I always make sure to give feedback kung ano yung experience ko sa product na yun. May it be product or food, talagang sinasabihan ko si seller na masyadong matamis or hindi masyadong matamis, medyo maalat, ganyan. Sinasabihan ko palagi para they know how to what to do next. Yan, very important yan. So always kapag may narinig na feedback from a customer, always make sure to pay attention. And then make customers your top priority. Kasi syempre si customer yung bubuhay ng company mo or nung small business mo. Kaya always make them your top priority. Kung ano yung mga feedbacks nila sa'yo, make sure to listen to it. And syempre, hindi ka lang makikinig, dapat i-act mo rin siya sa product mo. Keep brand assets together and use one brand style for your content. So dito naman depende kasi sa product 'yan. Kung iba-ibang klaseng product yung binebenta mo sa shop mo or sa business mo, you can make every product unique. So, pero syempre, ang magiging one brand style mo diyan is your logo. So make sure na yung logo mo is attached kahit iba-ibang product yung binebenta mo. Encourage collaboration of departments. Depende kung marami ka ng department, make sure na lahat sila is aligned sa goal ng company. And then keep up with the trends to stay relevant. Ayan, magandang tip to, yung keep up with the trend. Kasi sa panahon ngayon, ang bilis may umuso ng isang product, then mabilis din siya mawala sa market, no? So make sure na merong isang individual or dalawang individual na nagtitingin sa current market trends para makahabol yung small business or yung company ninyo sa lahat ng trends sa current market. So, brand equity and brand positioning. So, the brand equity has two main dimensions, si brand awareness and the brand image. So, this is very important part of marketing. Kasi kung hindi aware or hindi maganda yung image ninyo sa mga customers, wala kayong magiging bagong customers, 'di ba? Usually mga ano na 'yan, mga repeat customers na lang. And then mawawala pa if mawawala yung awareness and yung image ng product ninyo sa kanila. So very important na aside from magsistay kayo sa current trend, dapat is maganda yung brand awareness ninyo sa mga target customers ninyo. And dapat maganda din yung brand image. So sa brand positioning naman, this is a strategic process of defining how a brand is perceived in the mind of target consumers or customers relative to its competitors. It involves creating a unique and favorable space for the brand in the market. So ito yung mga key aspects niya. First of all, target audience. Siyempre, i-identify mo before ka mag-put up ng kahit anong business. You identify the audience, di ba? So kung iisipin mo, ano bang magandang product na ibebenta ko ngayon na okay sa market? And then second, sino-sino kaya yung mga bibili ng mga product na to? So dapat as a business owner, dapat maiintindihan mo kung ano yung mga needs ng mga tao. So for example na lang, rice dealer ka. Ayan, kahit sinong audience yan, 'di ba? Kahit mapabata, matanda, babae, lalaki, wala ka magiging problema. However, sa mga sandals or slippers, mga heels, ayan, usually mga female na mga Gen Zs yung mga target mo dyan. So make sure to magsiset ka ng mga priority na target audience mo para hindi naman sayang yung products na ibebenta mo. Next naman, value proposition. This clearly articulates the unique value that the brand brings to customer. So, naisip ko dito nung una yung mga credit cards, 'di ba? Yung mga credit cards, it's a product ng bank. Kumbaga as a normal person, 'di ba kunyari ako iisipin ko na ay pagpapautang lang naman ng banks 'yan. Papautangin ka nila, babayaran mo sila. Ganun lang yung unang sulyap natin sa credit cards. However, kapag kasi nag-swipe ka ng isang product sa credit card mo, is kikita si bank doon. So dapat si bank, especially sa sobrang dami ng type of credit cards ngayon, makakatch nila yung attention ng consumers, 'di ba? Dapat marami silang promos, dapat maraming benefit, mga reward points, cashback, ganyan sa mga credit cards nila na product para makaka-attract sila ng customers. So, differentiation. Highlight what makes the brand different from competitors. Ayun ang yung maganda doon. Kahit na, for example, sa credit cards, same kayo ng mga credit cards ng lahat ng mga bangko, pero ano ba yung pinagkaiba mo? Kasi merong iba, may 5% cashback. Yung iba naman, may mga reward points. So, as a consumer, tinitignan kasi nila yan, saan ba sila pinaka magbe-benefit? Kasi syempre, depende sa lifestyle mo yun, kung ano yung kukuhanin mo. So, dapat, kahit na same kayo lahat ng product, na credit card kayong lahat, is magsa-stand out ka para malaman ng target consumer mo na, ay, eto, mas maganda to kasi ito yung lifestyle ko. So, ikaw yung pipiliin nila. Next naman, relevance. Ensure that the brand's positioning resonates with the needs and aspirations of the target audience. So, very important na relevant ka. Dapat hindi ka nawawala sa trend kasi once na mawala ka sa trend is mali-left out ka talaga. Lalo ngayon, sobrang bilis na rin mag-shift ng lahat ng mga company from one trend to another. Depende kung ano yung sisikat this month and then may sisikat ulit the next month. So, mabilis sila mag-shift. So, maganda yung mga company na nakakahabol sa ganong klaseng shifting. Next is consistency. Maintain consistent messaging and experience across all touch points to reinforce the desired brand positioning. So, not just consistency with the product, consistency with communication with the consumers or customers. Kasi, once na mawala ka na doon sa mga consumers mo, hindi ka na nila tinatouch, wala ng touch point, hindi na nagme-message sa'yo, or hindi na nag-feedback, doon na maglo-loosen up. Hindi ka na kasi makakapag-upgrade at that point, 'di ba? Instead of you're having feedbacks and you know what to change on your product or you know what to update, hindi ka na makakakuha ng feedback from them. So kailangan importante yung engagement with the customers or consumers. Next naman, perceptual maps. Ito yung mga, may mga ibang company na gumagamit nito, mga visual tools. Yung nagma-mapping sila, tinitingnan nila kung ano yung mataas yung presyo, pero maganda quality. So, kailangan nasa mid-range sila doon. Hindi sila masyadong mahal na maganda quality. Hindi rin naman masyadong mura na maganda yung quality kasi malulugi naman sa company in that case. So, next is repositioning. Over time, brands might need to adjust their positioning due to changes in the market. Ayan nga, kasi sobrang bilis na niyan. Kunyari ngayon, ito yung trending. Tomorrow, something else might be trending. So kailangan lahat ng department sa brand ninyo is makaka-adapt doon sa changes na yon. Next is building and managing strong brands. So the process of constructing and overseeing robust brands is a strategic endeavor that encompasses the development and cultivation of a brand's identity, equity, and consumer interaction. So these are the fundamental elements involved in the establishment and admiration of robust brands. First is brand identity and vision. So sa lahat naman ng corporations or companies, very important na ina-identify mo yung vision, yung values, yung mga core values, ganyan yung purpose, ano yung vision ng company ninyo kasi ayun yung tutulong sa inyo maka-guide kung paano nyo ma-reach yung goal ninyo. So kahit na small company ka lang, kunyari one-man team ka pa, as a startup business owner, dapat mag-establish ka pa rin ng identity or ng vision or mission mo ng company mo. So kahit sabihin mo na lang na in a year or my small business will earn 100,000 pesos income for a year na yon. So kahit na ganun lang yung itatag mo for now as a startup business, very important yun kasi as you move forward, as months goes by, di ba nag-move forward tayo, makikita at makikita mo na, ay, nare-reach ko na pala yung goal ko na 100,000 for the whole year. So, kaya dapat always may goal tayo. So, for the brand positioning naman, identify the unique value proposition that sets the brand apart from competitors. So, very important kasi na hindi lang kayo basta pare-pareho. 'Di ba? Kasi pagka for example na lang sa isang lugar na lahat sila may sari-sari store, 'di ba? Sino yung mga pupuntahan ng customers doon? Eh lahat kayo merong sari-sari store. Dapat meron kang something na you set apart from other competitors. For example, sa sari-sari store mo, you not only have mga pansit canton or mga tigpipisong chichirya, you also have bigas, mga mantika, ganyan. As in, kompleto, Ricardo, yung sari-sari store mo. So people will be uh, buying from you instead sa other sari-sari store na most probably hindi naman kompleto yung mga tinda nila. So kailangan unique ka, no, kahit na yung mga competitors mo is katabi mo lang. Next naman, brand naming and logo design. So, syempre ito, important to kasi ito yung magmamark sa mga audience mo, no? For example, pag nakita natin yung Apple na may kagat, 'di ba naiisip kagad natin ay Apple product to, iPhone to, or MacBook to. 'Di ba? Ayun yung una nating naiisip. Kasi ayun na yung pinaka-logo mismo nila. Kaya dapat kahit small business owner ka pa lang, you establish your logo and you let the people know about your logo. And ano ba yung, kung kanino ba yung logo na yun. So, brand personality and voice. Define the brand's personality, traits, and characteristic to make it relatable to consumers. So, very important din, of course, na uh, for example, sa Apple products na lang tayo, no? Pagka nakita mo kasi siya, masasabi mo kagad na, ay, okay to. Kasi Apple to eh. Kasi you already set the history kung ano bang klaseng, um, product yung Apple na yon. 'Di ba? Maganda quality, maganda camera, kahit na mahal siya, pero worth it naman bilihin kasi hindi naman siya naglalag, ganyan, hindi naman siya umiinit, hindi sumasabog, 'di ba? Unlike yung merong naging news before na biglang pumutok yung phone na yon. So, that one pala yung news na yon is very damaging sa image ng product kasi ang daming lumabas na mga news na ay hindi na ako bibili nito, hindi ko na to i-recommend with the friends kasi pumuputok pala siya. Kaya very important alagaan natin yung uh, personality ng product natin. Not just the personality, the image, ano ba yung mga content, yung quality, kung magkano yung product, dapat always pasok siya sa panlasa ng mga consumers. Next naman is brand communication. Ito nga yung sinasabi ko kanina na dapat parang nagsiset ka ng, for example, nagsiset ka ng standard, no, sa consumer mo na itong product ko is high quality lang to. Lahat yan high quality lang. Wala ka makikitang low quality yan. Wala ka makikitang low quality dyan kahit isa. So once na nagset ka ng ganong standard, dapat mame-maintain mo siya. No, ganun yung magiging labas ng product mo sa lahat ng consumers mo. So, next naman is brand experience. Siyempre, magandang experience. Dapat, ayan yung magiging experience ng customer mo. Dapat maganda, successful, walang problem sa product. Although, hindi naman natin may iwasan magka-problem talaga sa product. Parang normal siya, no? However, kung paano mo i-resolve yung naging issue na yun is very important sa magiging feedback sa'yo at saka sa iba ng consumer mo. So make sure to always give them positive feedback. So sa consistency naman, like what I said earlier, dapat consistent ka with your consumer. Hindi porket nabili nila, nabayaran nila, and na-deliver mo, doon na nagtatapos yon. Dapat meron ka pa ring post-product experience evaluation or survey, ganyan, para malaman mo kung satisfied ba talaga to or dapat may ginawa pa akong extra for the consumer para mas magiging okay yung experience niya. Lalo sa mga pagkain, ganyan. Kasi ako sa experience ko, once umorder ako for example, sa Grab, no, pag may bagong resto ako nakita, o orderan ko siya, if nasarapan ako, o order ako ulit, i-feedback ko pa sa mga friends ko na, oy, ito masarap to. Ganyan. Pero pagka hindi masarap yung food niya, tapos parang minadali lang, parang basta may ma-deliver, ganyan, hindi, nagfi-feedback ako sa store na parang minadali naman, parang hindi naman siya masarap, kulang sa asin, kulang sa pepper, may mga ganon. And then, sasabihin ko din kasi sa mga friends ko yun na, uy, natikman ko to, hindi masarap, ganon. Kaya kailangan always maintain communication with the consumers. Ayan. And then brand equity and loyalty. Dapat you build a strong brand equity by consistently delivering value, 'di ba? And meeting or exceeding customer expectation. Maganda kung nami-meet mo na yung expectation ng consumer mo. Pero mas maganda kung nai-exceed mo pa siya. 'Di ba? Yun kasi yung mas maganda yung positive feedback niya sa. So kung maaalala niya yung product na binili niya, uy, nabili ko to sa ganitong store. Sobrang ganda nito, sobrang bait ng may-ari nito. Bumili ka dito, ganyan. Ayan yung mga usually na nakikita kong feedback sa Shopee, ganyan. Kasi syempre bago ka bumili sa Shopee or Lazada, since hindi mo siya nakikita, hindi mo nakikita yung product personally, you look at the reviews, 'di ba? You check if the review is okay, if there is something wrong with the review kasi minsan mga basag na daw pag dumating, ganyan. Although that's not the fault of the seller, that's the fault of the courier. Pero may naglalagay kasi doon na basag nga yung dumating tapos hindi na nagre-reply yung seller, ganyan. So, it creates a negative image na sa mga possible buyers mo sana. Kaya dapat sa may mga ganong klaseng stores na mayroong mga reviews, you always check the review and if may nakita kang may problem, you always reach out to the consumer or to the customer kung ano nangyari, paano ba natin to mare-resolve para kahit paano baguhin niya yung review niya or alisin niya yung part na unresponsive seller or hindi mo na makontak after mong bumili. Ganyan. So next is innovation and adaptation. This is very important, yung innovation kasi sobrang bilis magbago ng mga kahit ano. Actually, sa panahon ngayon, ang bilis talaga bago ng lahat ng product or lahat ng kahit sa company ninyo, 'di ba kung paano kayo mag-process before, magugulat ka na lang the next month or the next year iba na siya, nag-upgrade na, usually ginagamitan na ng more on technology. So kailangan mabilis ka mag-adapt doon. And then monitoring and adaptation din. Ayun nga, regular monitoring ng kung paano yung brand performance ninyo, kung ano yung mga feedbacks ng customers, ganyan. Dapat always may nagmo-monitor niyan. And then brand extension and licensing. Kung halimbawa lumalaki na yung product ninyo, 'di ba? Nagbo-boom na siya and marami ka ng consumers, ganyan. So dapat hindi ka na nagsistick sa isang brand lang or sa isang product lang. Dapat nag-expand ka din. Like for example, nabasa ko or na-watch ko yung unang punta dito ng McDonald's, 'di ba? Kasi syempre tayo as a Filipino, we love rice, 'di ba? So unang punta dito ni McDonald's is wala daw silang rice, no? Puro sila burger, fries, ganyan, puro ganyan lang. So, syempre, hindi sila tatangkilikin ng mga Filipino kasi we eat rice with the chicken. So, sa kanila kasi normally, chicken nasa loob lang ng buns and then gagawin na nilang burger yun. So, napansin nila na bakit parang matumal, no? Bakit kaya parang wala masyadong bumibili sa atin? And then, dun nila na-discover na kulang tayo ng rice. So, ngayon, since iba yung culture ng Pilipinas kumpara mo sa US, for example, na hindi naman mga rice eater, ngayon they had to adapt. 'Di ba? Para lang makabenta sila dito sa Pilipinas. So they started adding rice meals, mga ganyan. May rice meal tapos may fries din. Ganon. Kasi at that time, competitor na nila yung Jollibee. 'Di ba? Syempre si Jollibee, merong ano yan, merong rice, may chicken, may fries, ganon. So, they looked at the market and syempre na magbe-benchmarking ka din, titignan mo ano ba yung mga products ng competitors mo and then they adapted on that, 'di ba? In-extend nila lahat ng menu nila. So, ang ending ngayon, pumapantay na siya kay Jollibee unlike before na wala sila masyadong sales, ganyan. So, maganda na matuto ka mag-brand extension if of course ready ka na personally and ready na rin yung budget mo. 'Di ba? Kasi syempre another expense yan, another type of marketing campaign yan. So sa crisis management naman, develop a crisis management plan to address potential challenges and to protect the brand's reputation during difficult times. Marami ng mga ganito na balita na for example, yung mga nagte-trending sa Facebook, ganyan, na yung yung food nila is, for example, nahaluan ng insekto, ganyan. Syempre, super alarming yun, 'di ba? As a company or as a business na bakit may insekto dito. So, dapat meron kang plan doon. How do you manage yung ganong klaseng situation? No, paano mo siya although hindi maiwasan kasi nangyari na nga, for example, nangyari na, paano mo siya ngayon i-manage? Paano ka magko-control ng sa social media, paano mo siya iko-control yung mga tao kasi syempre yung mga tao hindi mo mapipigilan na magpo-post yan or magsasabi na sa mga relatives nila and sa mga friends nila ng pangit na feedback about sa restaurant mo. Kaya kailangan you know how to manage that. 'Di ba yung iba sinasabi na of course hindi mo nababayaran yun and then papalitan ko yung meal mo, bibigyan kita ng panibagong set of meal. Yung iba nagkakaroon pa ng money, no, ng money involved as a compensation para hindi i-post sa social media, ganyan. So at least magkakaroon ka ng control over doon sa mga pagpo-post nila kasi once posted yan online, sa sobrang daming Filipino na nagfi-Facebook, sobrang bilis magte-trending yan. So, pag nag-trending kasi yan, ang hirap na. Kahit i-take down niya yung post ng original poster, is it could have been downloaded and then re-uploaded on other platforms. No, kaya kailangan meron ding kahit simple plan, simple lang na kung paano mo siya i-manage. So, next naman, innovation and new product development strategy. So, the process of innovation and new product development encompasses the generation, conceptualization, and implementation of novel products, services, or enhancements to existing ones within the marketplace. So the implementation of these strategies is crucial for organizations in order to maintain competitiveness, adapt to evolving consumer demands, and foster expansion. So sa innovation, meron tayong four types niyan, yung product innovation, process innovation, business model innovation, and technological innovation. Um, I guess yung isang very famous case study about the innovation is yung Nokia, no? Kasi before like ako nung elementary ako, I remember having a Nokia 3310. Very sobrang matibay, ang tagal maubos ng battery, ganyan, magandang pang text sa mga friends mo, sa mga ka-schoolmates mo, 'di ba? So kaya naging famous siya kasi kahit 'di ba yung mga jokes nga na kahit na martilyuhin mo, yung martilyo pa yung masisira, hindi yung phone. So, however, inamin din yun ng CEO nila na yung pagkakamali nila is they didn't want to innovate. Akala nila kasi yung 3310 is hindi na yun aalis sa market. As in, yun na siya. No? Hindi na nila kailangan i-innovate yun. However, ayan, nauso na yung mga smartphones na touch screen. 'Di ba? So, uh, they failed to go into that kind of innovation hanggang sa mag-fail na yung business nila, hanggang sa hindi na nila ma-reach yung klase ng innovation na nangyari sa smartphones na fully touch screen siya, tapos may camera front and back, ganyan. So it's very too late for them to start the innovation process kasi naaangatan na sila agad ng ibang mga products, especially nauuso na before yung Friendster, 'di ba? So sa smartphone kasi makakapag-Friendster ka, however sa 3310 wala, Snake lang yung laro mo doon, 'di ba? Tsaka Space Impact. So hanggang doon lang yung kayang iabot ng 3310 nila. It's kind of too late for them to yung Microsoft na touch screen din. Ayun nga lang hindi na siya nag-trend sa market kasi mahal yung product nila. Samantalang mayroong mga touchscreen na phone na maganda yung quality na mas cheaper pa yung price. So mas pangmasa, 'di ba? May mga 10,000 na lang diyan or 15,000 na lang na magandang quality phone na. So ayun yung they weren't able to innovate in that kind of fast-paced environment. So kaya lesson learned 'yan sa lahat ng mga companies nowadays na dapat hindi mo siya um, parang hindi mo siya pinapansin, dapat hindi ganon. Dapat pag may nag-trend na isang bagay, you look into it and then you check kung ano yung mga pwede mong i-adapt sa business mo. So, new product development strategies. So, may market pull tayo, technology push, platform strategy, incremental and versus radical innovation. Ito namang mga apat na new product development strategies na to is like for example na lang no sa Nokia kagaya ng case study kanina is dapat marunong kang mag-check kung ano yung nasa market trend since at that time biglang nagbo-boom yung mga touch screen na flat phones dapat you check na ano ba yung mga qualities nito ano yung mga meron sila na wala sa current product ko and then you adapt from that example. 'Di ba yung iba kasi bumibili pa nga ng product na yon para i-check nila, i-analyze nila ano yung mga pwede nilang makuha sa isang product na yon and then i-adapt din nila sa product nila. Especially sa mga technological advancements, 'di ba? Maganda na rin sa phone, sa laptop, ganyan. Hindi na lang basta-bastang laptop ngayon. May iba na may touch screen na, may iba na naiikot-ikot mo pa yung monitor mo. So kaya kailangan very fast ka mag-adapt sa mga ganong klaseng changes. So, idea generation and idea screening. So, kagaya nung in example ko kanina, you take one product from the market na sa tingin mo ay parang ano to ito yung pinaka-trending ngayon. So, ngayon, titingin ka ng idea sa product na yon. And then, i-screen mo siya, ano ba yung mga magagandang quality ng product na yon. And then, titignan mo kung okay ba to kung ilalagay ko siya sa product ko. Kasi, minsan hindi rin maganda na lagay ka ng lagay sa product mo kasi tumataas na yung value, kung magkano ba yung amount ng isang product. Siyempre, kukonsider mo din yung target audience mo kung kaya ba ng target audience mo na bilhin yung product na yun if maglagay ka na maglagay ng high quality uh, parang mga products sa loob ng product mo. Like for example, mas magandang camera. Siyempre, automatically, mas mahal yun, di ba? So, titignan mo, kaya pa kaya tong bilhin ng target consumers ko. So, concept development and testing. You develop detailed concept for selected ideas and create prototypes for mock-ups and business analysis. Then you conduct a comprehensive analysis of the potential return on investment of the new product. So hindi ka lang naman syempre basta lagay ng lagay, check mo yung yung prices, kung magkano na lahat ng nalagay mo doon. And then ngayon, i-check mo siya sa market. Okay ba to? Mabibilihin kaya nila? Ganyan. Maganda kasi yung ibang company, nag-ano na yan nag-initial survey na yan sa mga consumers nila. So may mga iba na nangongolek ng email and then magsisend ng email no magtatanong na kung ganito ba yung gagawin natin sa product and ganito yung magiging possible amount, bibilihin mo pa ba as a consumer? So may ibang ganun din yung ginagawa. And then of course, very important yung ROI, yung return on investment. Kaya ka nga nagbe-business for the profit. 'Di ba? Kaya kailangan hindi kayong bastang nag-break even ka lang. Dapat meron kang profit dun sa ginagawa mo para hindi sayang yung effort. Next naman is product development and testing and validation. So once na halimbawa okay na yung product mo, na-create mo na siya, 'di ba? And then na pa-testing mo na sa market, okay naman siya. Ngayon, titignan mo kung ano pa yung mga possible developments nito in the future. Kaya nga meron tayong kunyari yung Apple 13 and then may Apple 13 Pro Max, 'di ba? May mga ganon. Kasi merong something na binago from 13 to Pro Max. Ano ba yung mga inad nila doon? So ganun yung titignan mo sa product development. And then of course the testing na. Kung kung okay na ba to, wala na ba tayong dapat baguhin, final product na ba siya? And then tsaka mo siya i-market launch, 'di ba? Once na nakapag-launching ka na kasi nasa market na yan and then bibili na ng mga tao. So once na okay siya, nakikita mo na parang wala pa namang current issues sa mga products na in-out mo sa market, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng post-launch evaluation. Important din siya kasi mamomonitor mo kung gaano ba ka-okay yung quality ng product na nilagay mo sa market. No? So, uh, Lastly, ito naman po yung last topic na natin is intellectual property and brand protection. So, mag-move forward tayo ngayon kung paano mo naman poprotektahan yung brand mo. Halimbawa, nakapag-launch ka na, successful na, how do you protect your name and your product, your logo, ganyan. So, meron tayong types of intellectual property rights. Yung first is copyright. This protects original literary, artistic, and creative workers such as books, music, films, and software. Trademarks protects distinctive signs, symbols, names, and logos used to identify products and services. Patents grants exclusive rights to inventors for new and useful inventions, preventing others from stealing their ideas. Trade secrets protects confidential business information such as formulas, process, methods, customers list, and etc. Industrial designs protects the visual design or appearance of a product, including its shape, ornamentation, and aesthetics. So, very important to, especially sa mga very huge corporations na like for example Coca-Cola. 'Di ba? Sabi nga nila, yung recipe ng Coca-Cola is hindi siya nakalist sa isang listahan lang. Always hati 'yun, 'di ba? And then dalawang tao yung nag-i-import or nag-e-export nung recipes na 'yun na sa magkahiwalay na plane. Just in case na may mang hijack ng plane, at least safe yung kalahati ng recipe. Kasi once na mabuko yung recipe na yun, everyone could just make the same Coca-Cola brand. 'Di ba? Kaya very important yun na pinoprotektahan nila kasi until now, sila lang yung nag-iisang Coca-Cola. Yung taste ng product nila, kung paano yung itsura ng brand nila, pati yung logo nila, sila lang yung meron. Kasi for sure, naka-ano yan, naka-register. Lahat ng klase ng intellectual property right for sure ni-register nila. So ayan, importante din kasi no one can copy you, 'di ba? Hindi ka pwedeng gumawa ng sarili mong Coca-Cola and then ibebenta mo siya as your own product kasi pwede ka nilang makasuhan doon sa pag-copy mo sa product nila. So ito naman is important siya if very huge na yung corporation mo, 'di ba? If you are a startup business, okay lang din, magandang practice na magpa-file tayo ng rights natin, no, as yung intellectual property rights as sa atin yun, as trademark sa atin, and hindi siya magagaya ng iba. However, uh, as a small business owner, hindi pa talaga siya relevant for you or for us, no? Kapag kung sakali magtatayo tayo ng bagong business pa lang. Because, una sa lahat, hindi pa naman kilala yung brand mo, 'di ba? Kung lalo kung bago 'yan, maglalagay ka ng intellectual property rights, pero sino ba yung kakopya sa na hindi ka pa naman nakikilala ng mga target consumers mo. Kapag as you grow larger sa business mo, maganda na ayan na simulan mo na yung pagpapapatent or pagpapalagay ng trademark sa mga logos mo. Kailangan itong logo na to is specifically for you lang, ganyan, para malaman ng mga tao na ito is your property and they cannot copy that anymore. So, yung intellectual property rights pala is for your brand protection. 'Di ba? Para mapoprotektahan yung brand mo, not just yung product na binebenta mo ngayon and yung mga product din na once extension ka na or nagkaroon ka ng brand extension, mapoprotektahan din siya. So, trademark registration, you register a trademark provides legal protection against unauthorized use of your brand name, logo, and symbols. Kapag ka na-register ka na, may gumamit na iba, pwede kang mag-file ng case against them. Or pwede mo silang sabihan muna na um, etong logo na ginagamit mo, or yung brand name na ginagamit mo is my brand name and I have filed for the trademark protection. No, meron ka ng rights doon sa brand name and logo na yun. So, monitoring and enforcement, of course, hindi mo lang siya basta-bastang ifa-file, regularly monitoring din. Very important. Kasi kung final mo lang, hindi mo naman minomonitor kung may kumukopya ba sa'yo, parang nonsense din siya. Okay? So, next is cease and desist letters and litigation. Ito naman pag grabe na, yung nasabihan mo na hey, this is mine, this is my trademark, this is my logo, this is my symbol, and they don't stop copying from you, and they create even more products using your trademarks. No, so pwede kang mag-hire ng lawyer to create a cease and desist letters for you, and then isasubmit siya doon sa company or sa brand or sa other business owner na kumukopya sa'yo. And then pwede nandun umabot yung magkakaroon na kayo ng cases. No, magkakaroon na kayo ng sampahan ng kaso if hindi pa rin siya tumigil doon sa pangungopya ng mga trademarks mo. So, domain name protection, secure relevant domain names and variation to prevent cyber squatting, which is the unauthorized use of a domain similar to your brand. Ito naman is very famous to sa mga websites, ganyan. Kasi ang website is sobrang daling kopyahin yan, di ba? Gagayahin mo lang yung code niya and then meron ka ng sarili mong website na similar to another website. 'Di ba? So, kailangan kahit na website lang 'yan, kunyari yung Facebook, 'di ba? Kahit na sabihin natin na Facebook siya, online lang naman, for sure meron yang mga trademarks protection or mga domain name protection kasi if not, everyone could just copy them. 'Di ba? And then gumawa ng sarili nilang Facebook na website na papalitan lang nila yung name ng Facebook into another name. So, kaya for sure meron silang ganun kaya hindi sila kinokopya ng ibang mga startup owners ng mga websites. So, licensing and contracts. Use licensing agreements to grant others the right to use your IP while retaining control and receiving royalties. Ano to sa mga music industry, 'di ba? Kapag halimbawa yung may isang show na gusto magpatugtog ng isang sikat na kanta, they don't usually just do that out of nowhere. Kailangan ipagpaalam muna nila yon sa owner nung kanta na yon. Kasi yung owner could be yeah, he could ask for a royalty payment. 'Di ba? Kasi you will use my song in your show and then I will allow you as long as you pay me this certain amount. May mga ganun naman. International protection, consider global IP protection if your brand operates internationally to ensure consistency and legal protection in various jurisdictions. Mostly din to sa mga singers. For example, yung mga for example si Taylor Swift, 'di ba? Ayan, may mga ganyan as pag si Taylor Swift since international siya, actually worldwide siya. Lahat nung klase ng ginagawa niya, mapa-song man 'yan, mapa-music lang or magsusulat lang siya ng song for a certain person to sing, lahat 'yan is merong protection, no? Naka-protect 'yan under her name. Kaya nga 'di ba recently yung mga music niya is binili niya ulit from her old manager kasi yung dati niyang music is pagmamay-ari pala ng manager niya yun. So kahit siya yung naghirap doon na kumanta and mag-record, wala siyang karapatan na angkinin yung music kaya binili niya pabalik. So if hindi niya bibilin pabalik and gagamitin niya, pwede siyang makasuhan kahit kanta niya yun. 'Di ba? Kaya ngayon, ni-register niya na under her name. 'Di ba? So next naman is brand protection. Monitor online platforms, social media, and e-commerce sites for unauthorized use and counterfeit products. So, ito naman, madalas to sa mga high-end na brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, mga ganyan. Ang bilis nilang mapeke. Di ba? Sobrang daming pekeng ganyan sa Divisoria. So, ang daming mong mabibiling kamukhang kamukha niya talaga as in very super replica na siya ng Chanel, for example, hindi mo mapapansin yung difference. Hindi mo siya mapapansin if hindi ka pa nakakahawak ng original na Chanel brand. Kung makikita mo yun na, ay parehas na parehas, bibilin ko nga. So that's illegal. Kaya maraming ang nire-raid sa Divisoria na nagbebenta ng mga ganong product kasi hindi siya pwede pwede kasi naka-trademark siya. So next naman is educate your employees. So you train your employees about the importance of IP protection and how to handle sensitive information. Kailangan hindi lang basta nakapagpa-trademark ka, nakapagpa-register ka, dapat alam din ng employees mo. Like, for example, yung mga sikat na brands ngayon, for sure, alam nila yan na once na may makita silang counterfeit items, it should be reported to the authorities or to the owner of the brands, di ba? Na, ay, eto, kinokopya niya yung brand mo. So, that's illegal. 'Di ba? Pwede nilang bigyan ng mga ayun, mga cease and desist letter, and pwede rin nilang kasuhan if hindi pa rin magsa-stop from copying the original product. So, ito namang Republic Act 8293. This is an act prescribing the Intellectual Property Code and establishing the Intellectual Property Office, providing for its powers and functions and for other purposes. So, meron tayo ditong sections 1 to 3, no, yung ano ba yung ginagawa ng Intellectual Property Office. So section 1 is the title, the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines. Section 2 is the Declaration of Policy. So yung legislation na to is this aims to safeguard and ensure the preservation of the proprietary rights of individual who possess exceptional abilities in fields like as science, invention, arts, and other creative endeavors. The primary objective of this law is to uphold the rights of this individual to their intellectual property and innovative work, particularly when such innovations or inventions are advantageous to the society. Like for example, yung pag-create ng mga vaccines for COVID, 'di ba? Ito yung recent na to. So yung mga pharmaceutical companies, for sure they registered yung products nila sa as their intellectual property right. Kasi if not, pwede siyang kopyahin ng kahit sinong pharmaceutical company, and then it could be given to people for free. 'Di ba? Yung iba nga ang ginagawa is nagke-create lang ng mga bagong products or ng mga bagong medicines and then ibebenta sa market. So, ganun usually nangyari doon. Kahit sa atin, nabigay sa atin for free yung vaccination. However, our government paid for the vaccination. 'Di ba? Hindi siya basically free. Binayaran talaga siya. So, Section 3 is the international conventions and reciprocity. So, this section pertains to individuals who possess nationality, domicile, or a genuine and effective industrial establishment in a country that is signatory to any convention, treaty, or agreement concerning intellectual property rights or the suppression of unfair competition. So marami pa pong mga sections tong intellectual property rights na to. However, itong section 1 to 3 lang yung we will discuss for today. Pero ang to summarize, yung Republic Act 8293, this is the law that provides protection sa lahat ng mga, not just business owners, but sa lahat ng uri ng profession. May it be if you are a scientist, if you are a music producer, a singer, lahat ng makikreate mo on your own na nanggaling mismo sa'yo. If you will be registering for a trademark, etong Republic Act na to will protect you sa mga possible mag-copy ng inventions mo in the future. No, kaya if ever na meron kang ma-invent na something na sa tingin mo is wala pang nakakagawa, and you think na it will be big in the future, no, you should be registering it already para malaman din in the future na ikaw yung may-ari ng invention na yon. So, that concludes po my presentation for today, and thank you for listening po.
Okay. Uh, successful successful brand management requires a keen understanding of consumer perception and behaviors. A brand managers continually monitor market trends, no, consumer feedback, and competitive landscape to identify opportunities for improvement and innovation. So by staying attuned to consumer preferences, brand managers can make informed decisions about how to evolve the brand in a way that resonates with the target audience. Innovation with brand management extends beyond products to encompass marketing strategies and communication channels. Now, creative and novel approaches to advertising, social media engagement, and experiential marketing contribute to a brand's innovative image. Leveraging emerging platforms and technologies allows brand, no, to connect with consumers in unique and memorable ways. Brand equity, so the value attributed to a brand, is closely tied to both brand management and innovation. Positive association and perception created through effective brand management contribute to brand equity. Innovation, no, whether in product development or marketing, can enhance brand equity by demonstrating a brand's relevance and responsiveness to changing market needs. While brand management seeks, no, to maintain consistency, innovation introduces an element of change. Striking the right balance is crucial. Too much change without consideration for core brand values may lead to confusion, while too little innovation might result in brand becoming stagnant and losing relevance. Effective brand managers navigate this balance, no, ensuring that innovation aligns with the brand's essence. In the era of digital information or digital transformation, brand management and innovation are closely tied to technology. Brands are leveraging data analytics, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality to enhance customer experiences, personalize marketing efforts, and gain insights into consumer behavior. The integration of technology is not only an innovative move, but also a strategic aspect of brand management in the digital age. So, again, the symbiotic relationship between brand management and innovation is essential for a brand's sustained success. Effective brand management creates a solid foundation, while innovation ensures the brand remains dynamic and responsive to evolving market trends. Striking the right balance between consistency and adaptability is the key to building enduring brands and stand the test of the time. And I think that's it for this topic.